Hi everyone, my name is Mary Bennett, and my speech is on factory farming, the sacrifice of progress. In the last 2 centuries, our nation has gone through the fastest period of industrialization in known history. This period brought with it many technological advances and increases in the quality of life, but along with it came a darker side. Farms slowly changed from small-run family operations to large industrialized animal factories, where safety and ethics were traded for progress and profit. Food production was consolidated to increase profits at any cost that it may come with. This trend continues today, with most animal food products coming from only a few different corporations. According to the sustainabletable.org, 2% of livestock farms now currently produce 40% of all of the food that we eat that comes from farms. With this growth and industrialization of the food industry came the birth of the factory farm. It's important to understand how a factory farm works in order to understand the harm that it can create. A factory farm is a large, profit-driven food production corporation that views animals as units of products instead of living creatures. Animals are confined indoors in cramped spaces with concrete floors. They're not allowed to graze or feed outdoors or in open land, nor do they have enough space to adequately groom themselves or lay down. These animals are denied their basic instinctual rights and routines. When the animals reach the appropriate size and age for slaughter, they're lined up and forced into another confined space to be stunned and then hung up and bled out, a term used to describe slicing the animal's neck until it bleeds to death. Current law mandates that animals be stunned completely unconscious before they're bled out. But because precise stunning techniques are inaccurate, many animals get hung up while still conscious and gutted and skinned alive. This problem may still seem distant from most people in their everyday lives, but factory farming directly impacts each and every one of us every day. Public health is jeopardized by current factory farming practices. There's a direct link between animals and their stress and the quality of food that's produced when they're slaughtered. Animals in factory live in a life in constant physical and mental stress. According to the Humane Society of the United States, food-producing animals are injected with growth hormones and antibiotics in order to increase their size and the life of sickly animals. These drugs are then passed directly to us from our food. According to the World Society for the Protection of Animals, the quality of food produced at a farming factory is significantly less than that at a local family farm. Animal abuse is also common in factory farms, as animals are often never offered any quality of life until they go to slaughter. According to the Humane Society, animals are kept confined indoors for most of their lives. They can't turn around, and they stay inside without ever seeing the sun. This causes great stress, and this also leads the animals to acquire many diseases from being packed so closely together. They become so weak that they can't even walk. Just this year in Vermont, the Humane Society investigated a farm which later was shut down for how the animals were treated. Many animals, too sick to walk to slaughter, had ropes tied to their legs and were dragged by pickup trucks to where they were to be hung and killed. But there is hope. There are many small steps Americans can take to correct these types of abuses in the system. First, we need to demand free-range meat from local restaurants and stores. It's empirically proven that when consumers want this type of product and make these demands, companies respond. According to sustainabletable.org, all of McDonald's and Wendy's stores have now switched to meats from companies that offer free-range animals and animals that have a better quality of life. Second, we need to get involved by donating time and money to animal rights organizations or pressuring local politicians for change. Pushing for legislation concerning the treatment of food animals is known to help. Just last year, President Obama responded to the public's demand for better treatment of livestock by creating an act mandating that all livestock be rendered unconscious before killed. This applies for all livestock except for chickens. The government will respond to a nation that's fed up with the abuses of the food industry. Most importantly, we need to purchase animal food products from local, independently owned farms and choose wisely when buying at the store. Local farms are more likely to have free-range animals that are allowed to live in humane conditions. They are also more likely to not use antibiotics and growth hormones, which can be passed to the public and cause serious consequences. One should buy products labeled free-range or endorsed by one of the many animal humane societies. If the supermarket does not stock any regular products, the customer can request them, and supermarkets tend to respond positively and hold products then. If the free-range industry had a wide public support, it would make enough profit to survive compared to factory farms and put factory farms out of business. In conclusion, factory farming is a product of a nation focused on mass production and fiscal bottom line. The health and status of and standard of living of animals is sacrificed for speed and production rates. According to the Humane Society, each year, U.S. factory farms raise and kill 10 billion land animals. These animals are exposed to terrible conditions, which risk the lives and basic rights to humane treatment these animals deserve and respect. It also risks public safety. A change will only come in response to consumer demand. Each and every one of us has the power to help by spending a little bit of time and demanding products that don't come at the expense of the animal's welfare. These kinds of moral abuses continue to be compromised just to save a buck. But if this continues, what other kinds of abuses would become acceptable just in the name of gain? This is a slippery slope that's gotten out of hand. If we do not do something now, what kind of future will we leave our children? We must take action and stand up and say, this is not all right. I will not sit back and let this continue.